According to the shocking new announcement tied to Trump's new travel ban 2025, there are major changes on the table that every green card holder, visa holder, and immigrant family needs to understand right now. And honestly, when I first read the details, even I had to stop and reread them twice because the rules are not only strict, they're confusing, they're sudden, and they're already causing panic among travelers who just want clarity and peace of mind. So if you're a green card holder planning to visit family, a visa holder preparing for a trip, or someone who's simply worried about whether you'll be allowed back into the United States, take a deep breath. You're in the right place. I'm going to break everything down in simple, calm, real world language. None of that complicated legal talk that leaves people more confused than before. We're going to talk about who this travel ban affects, what suspensions actually mean, how the new entry rules could impact your plans, and what you can do to protect yourself and avoid unnecessary risks. My goal is to make sure you walk away from this video feeling informed, prepared, and confident, not scared or unsure. And seniors watching, especially those who have green cards and regularly travel to visit children or grandchildren, don't worry. I'll guide you step by step with compassion and clarity so nothing catches you by surprise. If this information is helpful, please take a moment to like this video. It truly supports the channel and helps more people stay informed during these important changes. Let's get started. Now let's dive right into what's actually happening, because I know many of you are sitting there thinking, okay, but what does this mean for me? Will I be able to travel? Will I be questioned at the airport? Do I need to cancel my plans? And those are real concerns. Nobody wants uncertainty when it comes to their ability to enter or leave the United States, especially if you have family abroad or responsibilities that require travel. So let's walk through this in a way that actually makes sense, step by step, like we're just sitting at a table having a conversation. The first thing you need to know is that the new travel restrictions under Trump's 2025 policy shift are not just headlines or political noise. They're real, they're active, and they're already affecting how people move in and out of the country. And the surprising part, a lot of people who thought they were safe, green card holders, long-term visa holders, even folks who have traveled for years without issues, are suddenly discovering that the rules have changed in ways nobody expected. I've already heard from people who were stopped for additional screening, others who were advised not to travel unless absolutely necessary, and a few who were even warned that re-entering the US might take longer than usual because of these new measures. And I want you to really hear me on this. These changes aren't being rolled out slowly or gently. They're happening fast, and they're hitting people off guard. That's why information is so important right now. When policies shift quickly, confusion becomes the biggest enemy, and confusion leads to fear. But when you actually understand what's happening, that fear starts to fade, and you can make decisions that protect your plans, your status, and your peace of mind. So here's what's really going on behind the scenes. The new travel ban framework for 2025 is built around a tighter, stricter approach to entry approvals. The administration is clearly signaling that it wants more control over who enters the country and under what conditions. That means additional checks, more questions, and in some cases, temporary suspensions of certain visa categories. And I know, every time people hear the word suspension, their heart drops. But not every suspension affects every traveler the same way. Some categories are more vulnerable than others, and green card holders, while not directly banned, are being pulled into extra screening because the government wants closer verification of travel patterns. And I get how frustrating that sounds. You worked hard for your green card. You followed every rule. You pay taxes. You do everything right. You've built a life here. So when the rules shift and suddenly there's a question mark next to your ability to travel freely, it doesn't just feel like an inconvenience. It feels unfair and even a little scary. But remember, understanding the policy helps you navigate it with confidence. And that's why we are doing this video, to give you clarity and reassurance in a moment where uncertainty is everywhere. One of the biggest changes people are feeling involves entry interviews. Even if you've never been questioned before, you may now be pulled aside for an officer to ask where you traveled, why you traveled, how long you stayed, and whether you've visited any newly flagged regions. And let me tell you, this isn't necessarily because of anything you did wrong. It's because the new rules are telling officers to slow down and take more time with each person. That means longer lines, longer waits, and sometimes more intense questioning than travelers are used to. I've heard stories of interviews that used to take 30 seconds now stretching into 10 minutes or more, not because anyone is guilty of anything, but because there's a new system and everyone is adjusting. What's also happening is that more people are second guessing their travel plans. I've gotten messages from viewers asking whether they should cancel a trip to see parents overseas, or if it's safe for seniors to travel alone, or whether a green card holder might be denied entry on return. And while denial is extremely rare for green card holders unless there's a serious issue, the fear is understandable. Nobody wants to take a chance with something as important as permanent residency. Seniors especially need stability, predictability, and reassurance, not sudden rule changes that make them worry about being stuck outside the country or facing stressful questions at the airport. And if you're a senior watching this, let me speak to you directly for a moment because I know how much travel can mean for you. Many of you have children or grandchildren living abroad. Some of you have medical obligations overseas, property to manage, or cultural traditions that require you to travel back home. It's not just a trip, it's connection, family, identity. So here's what I want you to know. While the new rules may add inconvenience, the goal here is not to punish you or stop you from traveling. You just need to be aware, prepared, and patient. Having clear information on what's happening and what's expected at the airport can save you a lot of stress. And if you ever feel unsure, always check before traveling, not after. I say this with care because I've seen too many people face unnecessary panic simply because they didn't get updated information in time. Now let's talk briefly about visa holders, because this group is feeling the pressure even more. Some visa types are experiencing longer processing times, unpredictable pauses, and extra layers of approval that weren't part of the process before. Students, tourists, workers, many are reporting delays that leave them wondering whether their plans will collapse at the last minute. And nobody likes living in limbo. But again, understanding the system helps you work around it rather than be caught off guard by it. What's really interesting, though, is that not everything about these changes is negative. I know it sounds strange given the intensity of the headlines, but once the initial shock passes, patterns start to emerge. Officers are becoming more consistent in the questions they ask. Travelers are learning what documentation to carry. Senior travelers are discovering that arriving a little earlier, carrying proof of medical appointments, or having a clear explanation of their trip makes the process smoother. People are adapting because people always adapt. And my goal here is to help you adapt with confidence instead of fear. There's also a growing number of reports about certain regions being flagged more heavily than others. So someone traveling to one country might have a very easy experience, while another traveler heading to a different region might face multiple rounds of questioning. Again, it's not personal, it's policy. And the more you understand what the current policy climate looks like, the better prepared you'll be to navigate it. One thing that hasn't changed, despite all the fear, is that green card holders still have very strong re-entry rights. The government cannot simply deny you entry without a serious legal reason, but they can question you, they can delay you, and they can request documentation that proves your ongoing ties to the United States. That's why I always tell people, carry what connects you. It might be proof of residence, proof of employment, proof of medical treatment, or even proof of family members in the US. Anything that helps show officers that America is your home can speed up the process and reduce unnecessary stress. You don't need to carry your life in a folder, but having a few key documents can make a world of difference. And that brings me to a message I want you to carry with you. Don't make decisions based on panic. Make decisions based on information. If you're unsure, talk to someone who understands immigration law. If you're confused, reach out for guidance. If you're nervous about a trip, prepare ahead of time. Information and planning will give you far more protection than fear ever will. And as long as you stay informed, you will stay one step ahead of whatever policy changes come next. Now, as we continue through this evolving situation, I'll be here with updates, explanations, and guidance. So if you want to stay in the loop and feel confident every time these new rules shift, make sure you stay connected to this channel. And again, if you haven't already, please kindly tap that like button so more people can hear this information and avoid unnecessary confusion. All right, now that we've covered the foundation, let's keep going deeper into exactly how this affects your travel plans and what you should keep in mind as these new rules unfold.